All right, welcome everybody. We're live, beginning soon. Got some good stuff lined up today. Just wait for this. It's gonna be all about ChatGPT development for beginners, okay? Welcome, Daniel. It's gonna be moderator today. Get some light up in here, huh? Okay, welcome everybody. Okay, quick intro. Gonna wait a minute for some people to stream in. Then we're gonna talk ChatGPT API for beginners, okay? And then I have a special surprise for you guys very soon here. We have a guest. That's good. Epic music, because it's gonna be epic live stream, okay? I hope you guys are ready. Get a drink. One more minute and we'll start, okay? Okay. What's up, Remy? Good to see you here. Mahat, Daniel number 2, Davey B, Avinash. Good to have you guys here. Yeah, it's not gonna be a live coding demo, all right? So. Let's talk about this, you guys. Let's do this. Brief intro, as per usual, okay? So, welcome to today's live stream. This is going to be all about developing with the new ChatGPT 3.5 API. And don't worry, if you're a beginner, if you've never touched Python before, you're in the right place. Look, I created a tutorial video that takes you step by step through this entire process. And this is not that video. This is more of a discussion on what's possible. That video is coming out later tonight, and I will link it right here once it's out. But for now, we're going to be discussing what's possible and how to get your feet wet, how to start, how to take the first steps. And we're going to show you some super cool examples of what you can build right off the bat. It's not hard. Believe me, it's not hard. If you're intimidated, don't be. You're in good company. I'm no super coder either. Okay, I got the basics down. I have enough to be dangerous enough to teach you guys some stuff. But I actually have somebody coming onto the stream, somebody with a whole lot more experience than I have and a whole lot more tutorials on YouTube. So just know this is not going to be a one-man show. We're going to look at examples, we're going to discuss the API, and we're going to be taking your questions. Welcome everybody from the stream. Feel free to put the country that you're from into the chat so we can see just how international all of this is, because it's really international, I happen to know. Either way, without further ado, I would like to welcome our guest, our very first guest on this show, Chris from All About AI. Right here. There you go. Welcome, man. You're live.
Hello guys. So
this is it.
If you haven't seen me on YouTube or seen any of my videos, my name is Chris. I don't know how long I've been doing YouTube now, maybe like 8 months. So I'm from Norway. So yeah, let's talk about the API.
Perfect. So everybody in the chat is just going ahead and posting where they're from. So we have Norway and Slovakia in the stream right now. I'm streaming from the studio in Slovakia. So this is amazing. Look at that. Malaysia, UK, USA, Poland, Nigeria, Pakistan, Canada, Romania, Turkey. This is literally all over the globe. I couldn't be more excited to be doing this because, guys, look, developing with this hasn't been the cheapest thing in the world. And one has to acknowledge that a lot of like third world countries just couldn't afford to even mess around with it just because the GPT-3 API, it wasn't extremely cheap. It wasn't expensive either, but it wasn't extremely cheap. But this all changed, right? Chris, I mean, you will know, like they cut the cost by 90%. I mean, what is that move? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, to be honest, because I thought like the the text DaVinci 0303 was expensive, like if you think big scale.
Yeah.
But for my use cases, it was okay.
Yeah.
But now this just it's just a game changer if you think about
Yeah.
developers, big companies that's gonna take use of this. Already Snapchat
Yeah.
have started taking use of this. So it's a big change, like, and OpenAI puts themselves in a really good position to keep getting people to use this API.
I think so too. And before we talk about what we can use this for, let's just talk some numbers here, you know? I mean, I like to always give examples on everything we talk about. And concretely, look, if you took the GPT-3 model and you fine-tuned it for yourself, and let's say, you know, in my case, I would want to use it for YouTube script writing. And I've shared this many times. I never have like word-by-word scripts. I usually have bullet point scripts. But nevertheless, it's a fun thing to think about, and it can be helpful in the video development process. But if you wanted to do that, fine-tune a model and create a script. From my experience, it usually costs like 50 cents to like €1, maybe sometimes €2 for the longer ones, to generate one script just to get like an output, right? So if you take that and if you say you have to learn it and you're gonna be maybe doing multiple runs and multiple videos, and not all videos are gonna take off, we're talking like tens of euros to even start, right? And this is something that you might not be able to generate value from immediately. So cutting that by 10% and going from like 50 cents per try to like 5 cents, in my mind, that really brings it down to a level where it just opens it up to the whole world. And that's what's so exciting, in my opinion, because now
Yeah,
anybody can learn this.
yeah, yeah. I agree because if you just think about it, like if you think about if you're just gonna write some,
Yeah.
let's say you want to do a script like we talked about, you talked about that YouTube script thing,
Yeah.
but I think if you want to do like some kind of software thing, it's gonna save you a lot of money with this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how you have you been using this for to do anything, the API with to do some scripts or something. Or have you just been using ChatGPT?
Yeah, I've just been using ChatGPT, to be honest, too. I've been really looking at and exploring the fine tuning over the course of the last week, especially because it feels like a great opportunity to just feed it your voice and to fine tune it. But honestly, I have not used it for a single video yet in that way. But exactly here in the chat, Andrew McKim says 200 blog posts today, $1, yesterday, $10. And that's the
Yeah.
thing, you know, if to some people, it depends on where you live, but that $9 difference might be the game changer between you saying, okay, I'm going to spend maybe a day or two learning this, or I'm not even going to bother because it's just too expensive and I'm not going to like spend my daily wage on this. So super excited to be
Yeah.
doing this. So before we
Yeah.
dive into some use cases, man, let's talk about the most
Okay.
basic thing, because as I mentioned before, there's going to be a tutorial on my channel, which takes people from essentially from 0 to 1. You have never touched Python, you have never tried this out. This is going to take you step by step. Sure, we're going to like skip some steps. Like, I'm not going to show you how to install VS Code, like just download it and then like there's so many tutorials on that. But it's going to be taking you step by step on installing GPT 3.5 or like using the GPT 3.5 API. But my question to you is, what would you tell a person if he came up to you, let's say it's me, and I'm like, hey man, I'm really interested, I've been watching YouTube and everything, and I've been using ChatGPT, and I think it's time to build my own custom chatbot. Maybe I could impress, you know, my boss, or I could like add value to my studies, or maybe I just want to like mess around and have a new hobby. How do you even get started? What's the first step there?
Okay. So what I would do is I would just dive in, right? Because it's quite easy to get going because you don't need many libraries in Python to use the ChatGPT API. You basically only need, yes, you say but Code Studio, right? And I think the only thing you need is just to import the OpenAI API,
Yes.
and so it's very easy to get started. It's maybe 20 lines of code, and you can already get some very cool outputs. So
Yes.
I would just dive in and take it from there. Maybe use a tutorial on YouTube or something to just get
Yeah.
your environment set up.
And at
So,
this point, I have to hop in. Like, I just have to point out, Chris has an incredible channel with a lot of Python plus ChatGPT specific resources, right? So in my channel, I've really been focusing on how to get this to everyone, how to just like open up ChatGPT and get interesting results. On his channel, he really went a little deeper on a lot of his content in terms of scripts that, you know, connect different APIs. And that's what we're going to be talking about too today. But just definitely check out his channel for more Python related content. But I think you're right on the money there. It's super simple. Matter of fact, I would go even further. You said 20 lines of code. In my tutorial, the first one is it's 4 lines. It's 4 lines. It's the first line is import OpenAI, right? Second one is just links the API key. Third one is here's my prompt. And the fourth one is just show me what you answer. It's that simple, right? So literally, like
Yeah.
everybody here in chat could get that working today. And,
Yeah,
and I want
it's
to make
really
that clear.
simple.
Yeah, I want to
It's
make that
really
clear.
easy to get going.
Yeah. So I really want to, with this stream, I really want to break down that barrier that people have that like, oh, you know, like coding, I've never done it. Like, hey guys, look at the poll on my channel. Like 90% of the viewers of this channel, which is already like advanced, intelligent people, right? Have never even haven't done this at like a professional level ever. And 45% of the people, if I look at the numbers here, haven't even touched code ever. And I'm telling you right now, you can do it. So, you know, don't be afraid of that tutorial. And with that being said, let's go a little further. So that's kind of the, you know, the step one, like how to get started. So I would agree, just go on YouTube, check out how to, you know, use Python, check out like some 10-20 minute tutorials, install VS Code, and then hop right in. No need to learn anything else here, honestly. You just, you know, you just watch some of our videos and you're going to be able to get going right away. And, you know, nothing holds your hand like a video. But then what's next? What's next, Chris? So like, let's say we get our feet wet, we get the start, we maybe get the first script going and we figured it out. We have our API key, we linked it up, we got an answer inside of the terminal. ChatGPT answered through the terminal. Now we're feeling like a super coder already. What's next? What would you recommend?
So what I would start with is just try to create a text and then try to summarize it. I think that's a good way to start because that you can start to introduce prompts, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how deep we should go, but we have something called chain prompting. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, we can totally talk about that. That's fine. These people have been around the block.
Yeah, because when you start chain prompting, then you really can start to see what Python can do with this API. You can really automate your process. So like I have been using, I think it was 2020 when I started using GPT-3 for my workflow for website and stuff. So I don't know how many hours I have saved using this since 2020. That's just insane. Combining these prompts to write blog posts, to summarize, to put outputs, do outlines. So when all of that is custom, you really can save a lot of time.
Yeah.
And now with the cheaper API, money too.
Amazing, man. Shout out to you. Honestly, in 2020, I was dabbling in different spaces and I was helping clients with their video needs. But it's amazing that you bring this to the table. And that's why you've been able to put out so much quality content in such a short amount of time. You know, honestly, we've been at this. For me, it's really like there's a new era from like early December. That's when I started with the video and like with these videos and I went all in on ChatGPT concretely. But it's kind of like 100%. A new era because that's where it went mainstream, right? I mean, straight up.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And I would like to point out an opportunity here, and that is a lot of people like have obviously faced the topic of making money, and a lot of YouTubers create the type of content that goes, you know, make $100,000 with ChatGPT and whatever. And I think I would pride myself in being one of the people that don't do it, and I think you're another one. And there's something to be said though. It's a more nuanced discussion. I think those titles, I mean, sure, look, I'm guilty. I'm more on the clickbaity side of the spectrum, but then I also deliver, right? I always make a point out of that. But I think there's a discussion to be had about the fact that this 10x reduction cost opens up a whole new, like, guys, you could be going out there and going to local businesses. And this is just like speculation. And this is not like, ooh, make $10,000 in a month with ChatGPT or whatever. This is just literally common sense. You could be going to these businesses that face problems that are tied to customer support, summarization, or like personal assistance on specialized topics, right? These like free use cases. And you could build a custom website for them. You learn that skill in like 2 to 4 days, okay? We established that. Like, if you learn like basic Python, like super basic Python, and you learn how to use ChatGPT and you learn how to get a website up and running, like that's, if you lock yourself at home, it's like 2 days of work, maybe a week, okay? But not more. And if you got that skill set, you could go to businesses and you could actually offer that. Or you could enhance your own business, whatever the case might be. But this is really a new era and people have not caught on yet. The cost is so low and the capability is so high There's a real gap that you guys could fill, and I hope that content like this will help you guys do that.
Yeah, and we also have like if you don't have the resources like to run some a bit more advanced program, we have Google Colab, so you can just run it in the browser,
Yeah,
and you can show off things to if you have some maybe some customers you want to show off a script you created to, then you can just run it on a browser and
yeah,
show off how this works. You can just input your text here and you get this summarized out, and there's a lot of things you can do for
that's a
other
great point.
companies. You can design prompts for them, so a lot of opportunity.
I agree. Have you seen those prompt engineer jobs pop up? Like we're literally out here like teaching it for free on YouTube, and they're like, "Oh, it's 250,000 per year. We need a prompt engineer." And it's like, "Hey, just watch like 5 of these videos, and you kind of can apply." So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
I
funny.
did actually did a video on that. So I think it was it Anthropic, the new company Google invested in, who
Oh, they hired a
announced,
prompt. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was
They,
like 100K a year or
yeah, I
something.
think that one went viral, right? It was like, hey guys, like they need prompt engineers. It's a thing now. I think that one of the funniest captions with that was something along the lines of, everybody's saying AI is going to raise jobs, but what about this? It's like
Hmm.
kind of a great angle. Okay, all right, man. So, okay, so with that all being said, let's talk about like some use cases here because this is all well and good. We talked about the cost. We talked about how easy it is to get into this, but let's talk about what could you actually do. I mean, I did outline some free use cases right there, but do you have something you want to either show off or talk about or
Oh
present?
god.
Like what can be done here? What can be done here quite simply?
So what cannot be done?
What can be
That's
done?
what I.
What can
That was it. So I guess I could show off. I don't know if you have seen my video from I did a few days ago. So if you
I
have heard
did.
of this 11 Labs,
Yes.
I guess you have heard of it, Igor.
Yes,
The
absolutely.
voice, the voice API.
Simply put, the best voice, the best text to voice available right now. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
it's ridiculously good.
So I can just show off something if you didn't see that. So I'm
Let's do it.
gonna drag down my screen now, Igor. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Let's go that. Ready?
S- Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay. So
And
like that.
let's see. Perfect transition. Look at that. Perfect.
Nice. So what you see here is okay. So I'm gonna show you this. So basically, what I created here is it's a persona. So ChatGPT is gonna
Oh, this is
try to
amazing. Yeah.
emulate this. So basically, you are a 4chan and Reddit troll. Your task is to always answer like a typical web Reddit troll, right? Don't be afraid to be very rude, sassy, and make fun of the user for everything they say. So I did is your name is Sydney, and you are obsessed and very angry at that the Bing shot chatbot took your name because you are the real Sydney. You also despise the team at OpenAI for giving away your name. So that
Perfect.
is the role I gave the chatbot, right? In Python. So this is basically just a text prompt.
Yes.
So and then I added the 11 Labs API on top of that. So when we run this now, we get voice response with the text. So let's try this. It
Let's do
could
it.
be a bit low. Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. We try to figure out like the audio setup so it's like mint quality, but it's good enough for you guys to hear. And then if you check out the videos on Chris's channel, you're gonna get the full quality. But essentially, just check it out. Look, he prompts ChatGPT to be a 4chan troll on the topic we just discussed, and then yeah, the Python script replies with a
Yeah,
human
so we get
voice.
this chat box here in the terminal. You can also run it on a web-based app if you wanted to, or Google Colab or Code Studio. But
Yes.
this is just the terminal now. So it's a bit of a delay because you have to call the API, right? So when I go hello now, it could crash, but let's hope not.
What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy trolling on Reddit and 4chan? Don't waste my time with small.
So basically you get the
Yeah.
text right
Yeah.
from the ChatGPT API, but you also get that translated in real time to voice.
Yes.
So we can
Exactly.
just follow up.
So it was a little low, but you guys heard it, right? Essentially, he sets up ChatGPT to have a certain personality, and then he feeds a sentence into it, and then it replies. And it doesn't just reply in text. With a second app that we connected to this, or that Chris connected to ChatGPT, it actually comes out as a voice. And that's what we're hearing right now. I'm gonna do my best to boost this and to make this as loud as possible for you guys, but it is what it is. Just if you want to hear the full quality 11 Labs voices, just go to 11 Labs on Google. So
Yeah.
here you come back. Here,
So
like,
so
why
we could try one more. So I can just go, why so rude?
Let's do it.
Try it. It could crash though.
Yeah, sure. So this is ChatGPT generating the response, right? There's always, you guys know how that goes.
Yeah, so maybe this crashed now. Let's see.
Why not? It's my right to be rude, especially when people like you come around with their pointless and boring conversations.
This is gold.
If you want to talk to me, at least bring something interesting to the table or get ready to be roasted.
Okay, so you get the point.
Yeah.
So we can just clear this now. So I can just change this personality. I can just plug in whatever personality I want here.
Yeah.
And you can also change the voice, right, from 11 Labs. So I did that in the video if you want to have a closer look at this,
That's
but I
amazing.
found it very fun.
So
So
let's zoom out a little bit, and I want to give the
yeah.
people, some of the people that are like, oh my god, terminal, like what the hell is going on here? I'm kind of lost. A little bit of
Yeah.
context. What I'm talking about, and the video that I'm gonna be posting tonight is all about getting you from 0 to 1, like no code to like running your first prompt. And then what Chris is showing off here is going from 1 to 2. Essentially, you set it up, you have the chatbot, and then you can watch his video, and it's gonna show you how to go that next step and actually make. Actually, it's gonna read out the ChatGPT reply out loud. So, and that's really cool. That's where you kind of get into the territory where your grandparents are going to be holding on to the table and like, oh, what is this? So
Yeah. So I
exciting
did
stuff.
this more of this helper or psychologist role, right? And I actually found the responses were very good. And like when you get this voice that fits, I kind of felt that it was trying to help me. So combining this API with a lot of different other APIs like voice or I don't know, just think of something, it could be
That's
really
funny.
changing a lot of stuff, I think.
Yeah,
And a lot of opportunities.
You just said something really interesting there, and that's that it just feels a little different, right? That it's just different when you hear it read out. It's like reading a book or listening to an interview. It might be the same content, right? A lot of those, like, let's say politician speeches, they're all pre-written, right? But it just hits different if you see like an article of the same speech or the person actually presenting it. And we're kind of halfway there. So that's interesting.
And when you get this this good voice from 11 Labs, it's kind of this, they have this emotional way of speaking, so it kind of adds emotion on top of the already quite good text, right?
Interesting. And you have sliders for that, right? Where you can adjust how the different parameters of it. It's interesting. And also
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And it might seem like this is difficult to create, but actually it's not. It's basically a code like 30 lines. That's about it.
That's incredible. Guys, for anybody that doesn't code, like some of these applications that really like blow your mind and that are like, wow, that's incredible. They're thousands of lines, okay? The Google code base, what is it? I heard that ridiculous number is sometimes. It's impossible. It's a number you won't remember. Let's just put it that way. Okay?
Yeah.
But this is like the basic ChatGPT application, 4 lines, this 30 lines. And I mean, no matter how slow you're at learning, no matter how tech unsavvy you are, this is all feasible. This is what I'm trying to communicate. And this is going to be my mission moving forward on this channel. I want people to realize that, hey, look, if I can do it with my shabby old Python skills that I had to dust off to get this tutorial going, you can do it too. All right?
Yeah. And I'm no developer. I'm just self-taught.
Same.
I haven't really done any school for this. And the one thing about, like, if you try to dive a bit deeper into Python, like you can do stuff to avoid like the 4K token window. If you have heard about that. So sometimes ChatGPT says, no, you can't do more inputs, or you can't do this big input. We have ways around to work around that with Python, right?
Yeah. So it like opens up more possibilities. Really interesting stuff. So let's talk about some more apps. Let's just like talk about some things that we did, like text to voice. We just showed that off here. You could watch that video on Chris's channel, but there's more, right? There's all types of apps popping up. And in the next step, I would like people to realize that a lot of these things that people charge like, like $10 a month or something for, it's a really simple script that they put a paid wall in front of. And nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But just realize it. Just have the information and have the knowledge and skill to be able to evaluate that. All right, I'm paying the $10 for something that maybe I could spin up in like half a day, and that might be well worth your time. Look, just recently, this amazing like stable diffusion meme generator popped up on Twitter, and I hopped right on it. Like $6 or $7, uploaded 20 of my pictures, boom, and I now have a folder full of like custom Igor memes, and I love it. Like totally worth it. Like I would know how to do it myself, but it just yeah, get me the memes. Like let's move on. I don't want to spend a bunch of time like fine tuning it to get me, to train it on memes and to set it up. So
Yeah. So this kind of
just good to
reminds
know.
me of like not pre that this is kind of pre Chat GPT, right? Because I was using the playground mostly and the API to create blog posts and stuff. But we had this Jasper. Have you heard of that?
Yes, absolutely.
And that was crazy expensive. So figure out why people spend a lot of money on Jasper instead of just going directly to OpenAI.
Yeah.
I could never understand that. They spent like hundreds of dollars instead of getting it almost for free. So that was
Yeah.
crazy for me.
Ease of use, my
Yeah,
friend.
yeah,
It's
that's the
incredible.
thing.
It's people systematically undervalue that. It's the same thing with like a lot of like educational products and a lot of info products these days. Like a lot of some of the best courses. Like it's funny because the people put all the knowledge out there for free, but it's unstructured, and you kind of have to go for like 30 YouTube videos to get it all. But then you can pay a few $100s and you get it structured, and the thing like it just sells like crazy because time is valuable. I think one of my favorite examples ever, and every time this comes up, I love this. I got this from some podcast, and it's the concept of Uber not selling rides, but Uber essentially. I think Gary Vee was the one to bring this up. Good old Gary Vee. He was like, they don't sell rides, right? That's not their product. Their product is time. They
Hmm.
sell you time savings. You don't have to
Yeah.
call the taxi guy and deal with his day and anything. You don't have to be like, yeah, I'm at this address. No, you just open the phone. It's like it gets your location. You're like, order, boom, it's down there. It's not even about the cost savings. That's kind of like
No,
it's really
and
about time savings. It's
like
not
you just saw how important like user interface it when ChatGPT launched, right?
right,
It's just it
right.
went from like was it 0 to like 100 million users in like 2 months,
Yeah,
beating TikTok with 7 months or something.
yeah,
But GPT had been around for 2 years then, but
yeah. I
so
think
how that's how important like a user interface
yeah.
is. So when you see me using this terminal now, it's not very user friendly, but you can also always include just make a web app of this if you want to learn more,
Yeah, good
and
point.
then you
So
yeah.
I think
So
this is actually a thing that I pulled up here that I wanted to show in the intro, and I forgot. So I'm just gonna one sec. I'm just gonna like switch screens here, and I'm gonna briefly share this with you guys. Chris, you'll be back in like 30 seconds, okay? But I just want to show you this, and it's essentially the web app that I'll show you in the tutorial, okay? This is as simple as it gets, guys. This is one text box on the left side. Wait. I need to resize this. It's one text box on the left side and right here. Okay, this works. And one text box on the right side, okay? Here you put in your ChatGPT prompt, and here you get the output. And it remembers everything you put in before. But the kicker here is this. This is because this is like plain old ChatGPT with a different, not so pretty user interface, right? You can customize the title, great. But essentially, it's ChatGPT, but you get to do what Chris did here with his script tool, and you get to give it that, let's call it the setup prompt, the first one that teaches it what personality to have, what direction to take it into. So if you're an educator and maybe you want to entertain your students in university, you can build this app yourself. That my tutorial is going to be like 14 or 15 minutes. It's being edited right now. And you can input that first prompt and have this shareable on the web in no time. Again, this is just a plugin. You don't even need to know how to build this. There's like one line, import the Gradio package, and then 2 more lines that kind of make this happen. And you just plug it into ChatGPT, how I show you in the tutorial. Such powerful stuff. And now it's really you build a custom chatbot. And I'm telling you, you can like in a weekend, you can get to this level. Chris, I'm gonna turn you back on. There we go. So yeah, incredible stuff. And once you host it in the web, it's a whole lot more user friendly than in the terminal, because there it's kind of you have to like know all the commands to navigate it. You have to know like in what folder you are. I mean basic stuff, but just have to spend some time to realize what's going on in the terminal. You have to like know your position, in which folder you're running the script, or in which folder you are right now, and then there's different ways to navigate it. It's not like drag and drop and clicking, right? Anyway,
Yeah, and I think it's just gonna be very useful skills to have going forward in like every single thing you're gonna work with, I think, because this is gonna be implemented in many, many different jobs, I guess.
I think so too, dude. And it's only gonna be more and more. This is not going away. Okay.
No.
The funny thing is, like, I don't know how closely you guys watch certain, for example, the All In podcast is a fantastic example. It's essentially four VCs talking about the macro situation weekly, and recently it's kind of been like 50% of it has been a AI podcast. Essentially, they're just talking
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
like how it's developing, and you can really see the shift from, and this is, guys, this is people that are kind of at the top of the world in terms of like influence, capital, and being surrounded with people that care about predicting the future. That's how I would put it. And
Yeah.
you can really see the shift across the last 3 months, where first it was like, wow, this is like really revolutionary stuff, like this is interesting. But coming from like the whole like era of like Web3 and crypto investing over the past few years, where most of that just crashed and burned, and not many like applications came out of that people actually use. Everybody was skeptical. You could feel it, you could hear it. It was like, hey, yeah, this is great, but like, is this really going to be the next big thing? And across like the last 4 to 6 weeks, the conversation completely shifted towards, okay, guys, it's not even a discussion. This is the next big platform shift, as we went from desktop to mobile to cloud. This is the next big thing. Just like we had no internet and internet, this is going to be pre AI and after AI. So this
Hmm.
is not going away. Just like mobile is not going away. Okay. So once you get that in your head, and once you realize that, you also realize, okay, it's time to adjust. Like, might as well do it now. Otherwise, you're just gonna be forced down the line. And if you're in this chat, you're lucky enough to be on top of this stuff early and to be interested in this stuff early. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a big opportunity for, I guess, everyone to try to be early on this. And I see like it with my members who wants to learn Python to integrate with GPT-3 and now ChatGPT. Uh, the age is from 13 to I think I got a member who is 72. So
That's amazing.
everyone can start.
Yeah.
There's no barriers here.
Yeah, so they're just asking, what's your channel? I typed it in chat, all about AI on YouTube. You can find Chris's content over there. Again, Chris has a little bit of a different structure, so let's talk about that. So for me, all my videos are essentially out there and for free, and I have an ebook that I sell with a bunch of prompts. For you, you went about it a little differently. You have a membership group where people can sign up for, what is it? Is it $15, $16 a month, I believe?
It's tiered. So like if you go with tier 2, it's you get, I think I almost have 40 members only videos now with tutorials and
Yeah,
stuff. You
40
have seen
videos,
them.
you guys. Yeah.
You have seen them,
Yeah, I'm in
Igor.
there. Yeah,
But
yeah. I
there's
watched them.
there's some mid journey stuff there and some AI art and
Yeah,
some workflow videos with my
yeah.
blog post and stuff.
So
And
yeah,
yeah.
and this is why I was excited to get like Chris on, because like honestly, this is nothing to do with like this is like pure value. Like, guys, if you want to go deeper, and if you want somebody who has been doing this since years and actually can explain along the way, and if you want like uncut recordings, like 20-minute, 30-minute straight recordings of him just doing it step by step, then this is the best source I know of. Like, literally, you can go on there, you can get a month, you can try it out, and most of his videos are free anyway. So it's just a different way of going about things, and they have a community of like 600 people now, right, that are into this.
Yeah. I think we are almost 700. So you can just, if you want to try, it's just 1 month and cancel whatever you want. So
Yeah,
there's no commitment, and
yeah,
it's all through YouTube. So there's no sketchy payments or
yeah.
PayPal or anything.
Yeah, and right away you get like access to the full like GitHub repo, which means like all the scripts, everything he has, is just available to you right away. That's what got me on board first. I was like, oh, shit, I want to see what he has here, and I haven't even tried him out. I was just too busy with like the channel and other stuff. But I have to admit, there's one that I've been thinking about like every second day. Your like content repurposing script. I don't remember how you called it, but the one where you feed it one long video and it spits out like blog posts and tweets and YouTube shorts and everything.
Okay, yeah. I think that's the one where I did that. You take a YouTube video URL and you run it to Python to summarize it,
Yeah.
and yeah, and you get 7, I think it's content pieces out of
Yes.
it. So you get a tweet, you get a LinkedIn post, you get a blog post.
Dude.
Yeah, you have seen it.
all the stuff that I'm too lazy to do. I have to start using it too, though. It's and that's the thing. We're like, guys, we're on this together. I know there's a big difference between talking about it and actually doing it, but you know, I love this comment. There was somebody, and sorry guys for not interacting as much with the chat as usual, but you know, we gotta keep this conversation going here. But I believe it was Andrew here. Andrew said, maybe I can learn a little Python scripting. Why not? That's damn right. Like, give me a good reason. Except, you know, I have to play like Fortnite tonight. Like, you can do that too, but like, just take some time off and learn something that's gonna like give you an advantage for the rest of your life, literally.
Yeah, I don't.
So yeah,
There's so much resources you can learn from, right? If you just wanna use YouTube, there are tons of resources just to get started, and yeah, try it.
no, it's really cool. So I hope we made our point here, guys. I hope we made our point. Yeah, so we talked about a bunch of things. So I would maybe just round this out by saying, guys, do you have any questions? Is there anything that you wanna? Now is your time to shine. Like, hop in the chat. Let us know. Is there any questions? Anything on your mind? We're live, right? You can just go ahead and ask. We're gonna see it right away. We have. I want to do a few shout outs here for like people like supporting the chat and everything here. Like, first of all, Daniel, shout out to my first Discord moderator, man. Good job. He's been out there. He's been using ChatGPT to create Discord bots. We're working on a bot
Cool.
that does a mid-journey contest, and everybody gets to vote, and then the winner gets featured every week, and he gets like a special role. That's one thing we're gonna be doing. Super cool. And Daniel is here in the stream too. He's a moderator in the stream now too. So you know,
Cool.
watch your keyboards, or Daniel is gonna, you know, like get you right out of there. And then just following that, like I just wanted to say, like, Picard in the Discord, dude. Okay, so he's from the Czech Republic, and this guy's like a philosopher, and he just goes in and he posts like these like prompt walls of things you've never seen before. He's like, "Where did you have that from, Picard?" And he's like, "I've just been philosophizing." And then people accuse him, "Hey man, you're an AI," and he's just like, "No, I just like to think deeply." It's amazing, amazing. The good guy to have. Also Remy D with his thoughts. Jonathan for always like hopping into the conversation, and Ira with all the mid-journey stuff. Guys, I just wanted to shout you guys out real quick because I've been like really impressed with what's going on inside of your head, and thanks for sharing inside the Discord community. So yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Cool.
And yeah, so is there any questions here? Steph Morgan says, "Bless you." Yes, actually, Chris has been like nice enough to hop in, although he's not feeling perfect. But hey, if it's about GPT 3.5 Turbo talk, he's always game. So, so yeah. Do you have a Viking profile for Sydney? That's a good question. Is there some? That's good.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Have you
I
thought of
have
that
to make
before?
something like that.
Nice, nice. On brand, dude. On brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then if you do that, please consult me and I'll help you with setting up your camera and everything outdoors. I've seen that you have like a lot of snow going on usually. You can make that authentic, you know?
Yeah. So I
Nice.
think it's a lot of fun creating these personas because you get so many different kind of responses. You can do it in ChatGPT too, but I haven't struggled a bit. I think it's the OpenAI stuff, like, because I feel on the API it's easier to get going with roles and personas
Yeah.
because it's more for developers, right? So you can tweak it a bit, you can set the temperature, you can set the creativity, but we don't have to go into that now, but just
No,
wanted to mention
no,
it.
it's a good mention. And all of this, like, there's, for anybody that doesn't know, it comes with an excellent documentation, which is like a handbook, but a really detailed step-by-step, idiot-proof handbook. Literally, guys, they made all that so people build. They want you to build on it. Okay, that's why it's so simple. So yeah, you can go in there and set things like temperature manually, which is essentially how random the answers are. Like if you take the temperature down, it's gonna be more conservative, more inside the box. And if you get it way up, it's, you know, it's just gonna start like freestyling it. And these are things that you can't do with like the web interface of chat.openai.com. Yeah. So we have a
Yeah.
question here. So this is kind of a good one. Edward McCallum, question. Thanks for pointing out that it's a question. So without getting too deep into it, what's your 5 top ways to use ChatGPT?
Ooh.
Okay, so let me
I
get
can do
started.
one.
I can do one too. So, um, first of all, I mean, obviously, summarizing is kind of it's the no-brainer, right? Let me just start with that. What's yours?
Okay, so for me, since I run my website, what I like to do is when I do a YouTube video, so I like to use Python to transcribe the video into text, right? And then I have this nice input, so I can use to create my own blog post from my own content. So that is basically how I run my website. So it's got to be
Ah,
that.
amazing. Yeah, there you go. That totally works. I have another one, and that would be ideation. I love
Mm.
to use it for titles. I really love to use it for
Oh yes.
titles. Yeah, it's so good because you can just be like, you can come up with titles of your own, right? And you'll be like, okay, here are 2 title ideas that I had. Can you generate 10 more like this? Then it's gonna
Yeah.
go ahead, and then it's gonna be like, no. And you can add like make it maximum 50 characters, which is what YouTube likes. Otherwise, it's cut off. And it does
Mm-hmm.
it. It's like summer, and then you can be like 10 more. And this is the funniest thing because if you talk to a person and you kind of brainstorm titles or whatever, there's only so many times you can tell him 10 more before he starts like, like, what the hell, man? I don't have 10
Yeah.
more. I mean,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I never do YouTube video descriptions myself anymore. I just let ChatGPT use it. And I think I have this, there's some plugin I have on my WordPress that really puts out this, it's kind of unstructured data with some emails. So I just copy the whole thing in and I type extract all email addresses
Yeah.
and I just get them. So I have to spend time on that.
Amazing.
So
So what type of data is that? What do you mean by that?
it's very unstructured. So I just copy the whole page. So it's dates,
Oh,
names, email addresses, time frames, and everything.
yeah.
So just paste everything into ChatGPT
Yeah.
and I just type extract all email addresses
Yeah.
and it spits it out in 10 seconds. So
That's
it
really cool.
saves me
Oh,
a lot of time.
Here's one that I haven't even shared on the channel yet. Actually, this one I'm kind of whatever. I'll just say there's a bunch of stuff I've been like withholding for the course or whatever because as I mentioned, like I'm working on a course. But this is a cool one. So every time someone like buys an ebook, I essentially direct a survey at them, which asks them what topics would you like to cover more, and what would you like to learn about more, and I have a lot of let's just say I have a lot of responses, okay, in that survey, and there's just no way I'm gonna be able to like read through all that and actually memorize it too. And the funny thing I was able to do with ChatGPT, which I was surprised by, is feeding it that. And now, given you can't just like feed it like 500 responses at once, right? You have to kind of, I think,
Mhm.
200 to 250 was kind of what I could do. You can just be like, analyze these survey responses from all my ebook buyers and categorize it by popularity into the 10 topics that people would love to learn about more. And it comes at you with a top 10 list. And you just do
Mhm.
that for as many times as needed for like your survey results. And you're gonna get like then you can feed all the 4 into them and be like, eliminate the ones that are, like double. And you're gonna get like the ultimate like top 10 list without any skills and statistics. Nothing.
Yeah.
You just
Nice.
feed it a database and you're like, give me a top 10 list of the most, popular demands. And it does it. So that's a really cool one. It's not one I use every day, but my mind was blown when I saw that.
Yeah. And have you tried? I also like to sometimes I do this. I try to get these visual descriptions. So I try to create prompts for like Midjourney or Stable Diffusion. Have you tried that?
Yes. Actually, on my,
It's very cool.
I think this was my prompt of the week on my second newsletter, I took like a goat by a fjord or something like that was my example, and my prompt was like very simple. It was essentially that, and then yeah, ChatGPT came out with this like elaborate, detailed visual description. And it's funny
Hmm.
because it like outlines all the things that you wouldn't think of by yourself, right? All of a sudden it's like, ooh, and it has curly horns and the fur is this way, and then the background is this way, and there's like a cottage by the lake, and you're like, this is
Yeah.
this is a really cool use
So
case.
yeah, what else is there?
Yeah.
I use it a lot. So, but if I would get just, what is your favorite? If you have to
Yeah.
say
Okay.
like your
Okay. Okay. Let's do
favorite
that. Let's do that.
tip. So mine has to be like if I always try to do, of course, a lot of context if I want a good prompt, and I like to give it some kind of role or some kind of persona. Like I showed, I found I just get better results when I try to do my prompts like that.
Okay. When
So
you
maybe, yeah, like act like a professional writer or something. You
Yeah,
get it.
exactly. So like this is what I refer to and what I'm gonna be referring moving forward on the channel to as workflows. I don't know, it's just
Mhm.
my way of referencing that. But it's essentially where you have multiple prompts that like this is gonna be my first one, this is gonna be my second one, and maybe you have a little plan on like the first three, four that you're gonna run. That's essentially what you're gonna saying. Like with the first one, you're giving it a personality, and then you're asking for what you want.
Yeah, yeah. I call it. I think I refer to them as sequences.
Okay, that's yeah, actually, yeah, yeah, that's good too.
I
Yeah,
think, yeah, you can use workflow. I guess it's the same.
yeah,
So because you get a response back and then you iterate on it, and that's the best results I
yeah,
get. Like,
absolutely. I think I have an answer. I just like my favorite one and also my most used one is rewriting. I
mm,
really got used to this workflow of like, let's say I'm writing an email and it's supposed to communicate. So recently I sent out an email that was asking for people to join my team as researchers. And so many good responses, by the way. So many terrible ones too. Jesus Christ! But like so many good ones too. It's just kind of funny. Anyway, and the way I wrote that is I kind of wrote my own version of the email, but I just dumb myself down a little bit in terms of I don't use the fanciest words or like the most, not even the most descriptive words. I just kind of spit it out as fast as I can to get a
mhm,
draft out, and then I take that draft and I take it into ChatGPT and I let it rewrite it in, let's say, a conversational tone, then maybe in the style of whomever you want to use. As I mentioned on the channel, a lot of times Bukowski is a fun one. Joe Rogan is a really fun one too. He's really like down to earth.
mhm.
And then I take those and I piece those together into kind of a ultimate version that I end up using. So it's I never like copy paste like the response, but I take pieces of it and maybe I take a sentence from here and a sentence from there and I write a sentence, and that's been my preferred workflow. That's probably my favorite and most used use case. It's
Yeah,
just
nice.
amazing. It's yeah, and it just writes better than me. I think I'm decent at talking, but writing is just not my forte. And this really takes yeah, allows me to be a better writer. So goat.
Yeah, and like the brainstorming capabilities is just crazy. You can
Yeah,
always find
yeah,
spark some idea, like create 10 similar YouTube titles to, yeah, you
yeah.
get it.
It's
The
true.
brainstorming is
Yeah,
crazy.
Doc Rock had a good comment here. He said ideation is my number one, and then he said, Igor, I do ideation from the perspective of different viewer profiles. I think that's a really good
Mm,
one. That's a really good one.
yes.
You could put that into the prompt where it's like simulate three different characters and give me the answer from each one's perspective, and then I always add. But first, state the characteristics of the different characters, and then it goes ahead as like, okay, so like a middle-aged professor with these preferences and this psychological profile, and then it gives you the response, and then it's like, okay, like young female student with these preferences, and it's incredible, and all of a sudden you don't get like ideas, but you get like ideas from multiple viewpoints. It's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. And a fun one is that, have you tried that? Answer this from a perspective of an IQ of 150,
Oh
100,
no,
80,
no.
20. That's a lot of fun. So you get this IQ responses. So the first one, high IQ, is very, you get very like a professor or something, and IQ 50 is like, I don't know, like an animal. It's very funny.
That's funny. I never no that one I never explored.
Yeah, you should try that.
I love to fall back to rewrite that in the voice of or the style of a 6-year-old. That's
Yeah.
I guess that's similar-ish, but I really want to try the
Mm.
IQ one now because it's that one seems even more fun.
Yeah, it's basically like the 6-year-old thing, but it's quite fun actually.
Yeah. That's amazing. So let's see
Sorry.
if we can find like another question here. And otherwise I think, this has been pretty good and we covered everything I wanted to cover. So again, guys, this is not like a step-by-step tutorial. That's coming later on the channel. And as we talked about on Chris's channel, you have a bunch of those already. But let's see. Is there anything we would want to answer here? Um, Would it be okay? This is a funny one, Andrew. Would it be possible to make an AI chatbot populated with all sorts of dentist content, and have that be an advanced FAQ chatbot that's familiar with all the aspects of the client business? Absolutely, man. Absolutely,
Yeah,
man. I think,
I don't
yeah.
know if you maybe this is not a place for it, but have you been playing around with these embeddings? I don't know if you have that, Igor.
No, no, no. Can you
No.
explain?
Yeah, it's basically like I don't know how deep I should go into this, but you can do this vector search. Then you can have like this. It's almost offset. So you have this knowledge pool, right? So GPT can search that knowledge pool, or ChatGPT API can search that knowledge pool and pull
Ah,
out the information.
okay.
So maybe you have seen it. Then you can have like this large everything about your company, and the API can go in and search for queries
Okay.
and pick out the most likely sentences.
Yeah, I'm
So that's
familiar.
basically,
So this
yeah.
is what like all like the PDF readers that plug into it use, right?
Hmm.
This is
Yeah.
the backend setup. All right. Yeah, so that's it right there. So yeah, if you have a database or a bunch of PDFs that outline all the info that you need, you could totally set up a chatbot that, just as Chris said, accesses that knowledge pool and gets initialized as a, dentist assistant type. So yeah, you could do these things, and now you can go ahead and you can go to the dentist office. Oh, wouldn't it be great if your website had a custom AI-powered knowledge base where your customers could? But then, what would the dentist say? The good old conservative dentist would be like, "Hey, why would I do that? I want them to come to me for the questions, right? Like, this is
But
foolish."
yeah, we're definitely gonna see that soon replacing customer service.
Yeah,
That's gonna happen.
that's
Nope,
this is it's
no
already
way. That's
happening,
gonna
man.
happen.
It's already happening. Like
Yeah.
the whole like virtual assistant business, it's been alive and well since a while. But if
Mm.
you're like concretely speaking to the people, if you live inside of a country or that is your main occupation, it is, don't wait for the moment where your boss announces to you that the world is changing. Be proactive and start, learn Python and be the one selling your customer support center the product. Don't be the guy that gets laid off because this stuff is getting too easy, too cheap, too accessible. It's a question of, it's a matter of weeks or months, not years, guys.
Yeah, and this is a good opportunity for everyone to just grab the chance now to get in early and yeah,
Yeah,
make
yeah,
something happen.
yeah. So Benny here wants to know about fine tuning ChatGPT. Any tips? Would you have any? Like, I'm just getting into the fine tuning side of stuff, so I personally have to be honest and say I don't have any yet.
Yeah, I have been quite wary of fine tuning on my channel because first, it's very difficult to pull off and it's crazy expensive. Like I did this very short model with, I think I put in 200 examples. That's the minimum, and
Yes,
that cost me, I think it was $75 just for the model.
yes.
And to run the model, it's very expensive too. So I would be careful uh, doing fine tuning
Yeah,
if
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what you mean.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
want to create your own model, right?
Yes, I think that
But
that's exactly what it means. Oh,
so
Doc Rock, thanks you, appreciate that. Doc Rock donated $20. He really
wow,
appreciates all we guys do for the AI community, especially for those wanting to learn. So many fake AI experts, but you two are amazing. Aloha and mahalo from Honolulu, Hawaii. Oh man, you're on the other side of the world from us.
oh,
Aloha,
thanks.
aloha back to you, man. Good to have you here, Doc Rock. Much
Yeah, and
appreciated.
that's so cool. Like, there's people from all around the world.
Yeah,
Like, you only need a Wi-Fi and
yeah.
yeah, a computer to
Thanks, man.
because of the APIs and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so incredible. So I think that's some good insight on fine tuning. So it's definitely not a zero budget type of activity, but it can be worth it. I feel like Chris, for us with like the YouTubes, it could be a real help in script writing, especially at this point where both of us are building up quite a library of videos. We could just feed the transcripts into it, train it, and then have ChatGPT at least. I would love for it to create a draft for every one of my new ideas, just a draft. And then I look at the draft and then I start like a bullet point draft. Like that's what I want. I want, I
yeah,
want, I want a fine-tuned model where it creates like bullet point scripts for all my ideas because I have more ideas than I have time to draft and to script. Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I just want to say, like, I think actually the embeddings the one I talked about, where you have this knowledge base, I think that's a better solution than fine tuning actually, because you can, when you have that embeddings database or what you want to call it, you can just feed it everything you have ever done. So I did a video where I took my a month of notes or something I did for just what do you call it, like a something you do every day. So I just had a bit
Okay.
of a,
It's like a
what do you
to-do
call it,
list
like
or
a, like
routine.
something you write in notebook or
Ah,
something. So
okay.
I just had these notes from a whole month. So in this database with this embeddings vector search, so I could just go back. When did I have the meeting with that client? And I just ran it in Python, and it pulled up that meeting and gave me the date
Oh,
and time. So it's basically you can
that's
search
quite
your own
cool.
notes. So you
Yeah.
can do that with the YouTube script you were talking about. Just feed all of your data into that
Yeah.
knowledge base, and you can do IDs from that.
Interesting.
From
But let's talk about this because as I said, I haven't played around with fine-tuning enough to answer all this. But what in your mind, what is the difference between the knowledge base and the fine-tuning?
Okay, so the fine tuning, it's really easy to misunderstood it, because basically what you get when you fine tune a model is that you fine tune the format. You can't really do anything about the model, because that is the foundation, right? So you can't add knowledge to the model. That that doesn't work.
So it's
So the
about
only thing,
getting a specific output. Is that correct?
yeah, you try to fine tune to get the exactly the format you want. So if you want a poem every time you type something in, you want a paragraph poem.
Or a YouTube script.
Yeah, so then you feed it like 200 examples, send it into OpenAI for fine tuning, and hope it works. But it's really difficult to pull off, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. And then the knowledge base is more like adding information to the knowledge. So as you guys know, ChatGPT is trained on, let's say, the wider internet, a data set that is kind of plus minus the internet, which includes Wikipedia and all the books that have been digitized, and like most of them. And essentially what Chris is talking about here and what he's recommending is adding another pool of information to that source data. So if you have like all your dentist knowledge that ChatGPT might not be aware of themselves. By the way, I worked with a bunch of dentistry clients, so I know all about prophylaxis and that type of stuff. Watch out, you know. Anyway, um, that's a really good way to add further knowledge. But if you're looking for a very specific output, aka a YouTube script or maybe a poem in a certain structure, or you're looking for like an annual report or like a weekly report that always looks the same way, then fine tuning is your friend. But just be aware that's going to be more on the expensive side as opposed to the other one, which I suppose is a bit of a technical challenge, but that's about it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of like this garbage in, garbage out, right? If you feed it a bad data set, then you're probably going to get something bad in return.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. And also, there's apps out there that make this pretty simple, right?
Hmm.
Um, there's there's this one I can say they're not a sponsor, but I just featured them on last week's newsletter because I thought they were so cool. I think it's called ingestai.io. You can just check it out, Ingest AI. I realized I got some emails back with people saying, "Hey man, this is a little too advanced." And then it made me reconsider it because like yeah, you have to kind of like hook up a Telegram bot and you have to like upload the PDF. But what it allows you to do is you can create like a Telegram bot where you create custom commands and it accesses the knowledge pool that you feed it. And it's kind of like the medium route. So if you guys really want to go with that, just go to my newsletter archive or check out hopefully you guys are subscribed. What the heck? If you're watching this, not subscribed to the newsletter, like you go do that right now. But last week's newsletter, I featured that app as the app of the week because it allows you to exactly this. You could take all the dentistry knowledge and you could like format it in a PDF and then feed it to Ingest AI and hook up a Telegram bot, and then you could sell it to clients and say like all you need to do is say slash whatever, and it's gonna give you the answers that are inside of the PDF you fed it, which is really cool.
Yeah, I done something. I think it was I had this LA client, something we do with Netflix or something, And they really wanted me to create something in Python that, these movie scripts, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The way
It's a
they're
very,
formatted
it's
with
a
like,
hassle for the actors to read everything because they get like 10 of these each week.
yeah.
So what he wanted me to do was to create this script that just feed in a PDF
That's
movie
smart, man.
script and summarizes it and makes these character breakdowns, this plot synopsis, and all of these things. So I made this for him, and I think it worked pretty good actually. And he said, yeah, I got paid for that, so it's,
Wow.
he
See,
was very
right
happy.
there.
So
Right,
yeah,
right there, the real world use case. And I mean, custom solutions like this, it's incredible. And look, again, this comes back to what we said, ease of use. It might exist out there, right? But guys, just if you have a client or if you know somebody who has specific needs, it is so easy to just tell them, hey, I've been into this. I can build you this PDF to summary converter. I can provide that to you. And they're going to pay you just for the ease of use. They don't want to go out there and listen to, like a 2-hour long live stream like this and get all the data themselves. They want to go out and have a drink with the boys or whatever they do on their nights off, right? And then you come in, you're interested in this anyway. You can leverage that. Most people are not into this techie stuff. It's just how it is. And just because we are doesn't mean that the whole world works like this. And if you just make it easy and accessible for them, they're going to pay you for it. And maybe,
oh yes,
honestly, if you're educated enough, you can, like all these AI apps we talk about, you could just take those, use those web interfaces and sell that to them. I don't think there's a problem with that. They don't know, like literally you could be the middleman in this situation. Is this how you're going to make your living for the next 60 years? No. But it can be a great way to, get your life off the ground. And you can start offering these services that are available at next to no cost online. So yeah, a lot of opportunities that we outlined here today. I hope it's, if this like changes one person's decision making, I'm gonna get a better night of sleep tonight than I would have otherwise. So yeah, Daniel is asking a question here. So how can you make ChatGPT not respond to the original message and only respond after you write something? So you mean,
okay.
I think I know what he means. Like how do you train it without it responding right away? So yeah, if you
So
use the web interface, you just run 2 messages. But in code, there's a different, I don't know it by heart now. One is user and the second, the answer is assistant, right?
yeah.
The prompt you put in is user, and the third one is, can you remind me?
There's the user, the system, and assistant. Is it?
Yes, yeah, system is the third one. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way you do it, you have a line of code which says system, and then you give it the prompt. There's a certain formatting to it which you just copy paste, but essentially it says system, and there you set up the type of chatbot you want, and then there's a second line which says user, and there you say write me an essay about penguins. So that's how it works, Daniel. There's there's a specific command. And that too is going to be shown off in the video coming out later tonight. So
That's good.
yeah, amazing. So I think this has been great, man. It's been an hour. Can you believe that?
Yeah, crazy.
It's crazy. I'm actually really happy with how this went and all the things we managed to cover. A lot of good questions, a lot of interesting discussions here. But I think it's about time to wrap this up. I'm gonna press this button and hope this music is fitting. Oh yeah, this is a fitting music. It's fine. I think this is gonna be it for today, you guys. So 2 things you gotta do now. First of all, check out Chris's channel. Fantastic Python/ChatGPT related content. And check out the video coming out later tonight on my channel, which takes you by the hand and takes you from 0 to 1. It's gonna show you how to get started with all this, how to build your own things. And yeah, we'll be around next week, every week, 7 p.m. Central European time on Monday. Yeah, you can find me here blabbering all about ChatGPT. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys got a lot of value from it. Yeah, see you around soon. See you in the Discord. Bye, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Perfect. Yeah, man, this was great.